Hi, my name is Val Billingham. I'm an author and publisher of fiction and non-fiction, and I believe in the power of stories. I've written a book called Lover's Pact, which uses the power of stories to help you put the romance back into your sex life. I want to tell you about it because there's nothing else quite like it on the market. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Once upon a time, in a land not far away at all, two people met and fell in love. The two people became one couple. They were going to live happily ever after, floating through the air on a magic carpet of frequent, passionate, multiply orgasmic sex. Okay? It's 1001 nights into your fairy tale. Are all your bedtime stories still X-rated? Can you still not keep your hands off each other? Or do you wish you could turn the pages back to the beginning of your story? Either way, this is the book for you. Once there was a sultan who had a beautiful wife, the mistress of his harem, the queen of his palace, the empress of all his dominions. Unfortunately, some time into their marriage, the sultan discovered that his beautiful wife was having an affair. Not only that, his wife's lover was the captain of the palace slaves. And not only that, the queen and her slave captain were holding secret orgies. The sultan's harem girls and his slaves were all cavorting naked together in his own palace garden. The sultan was outraged, so outraged that he swore revenge on all women. The sultan killed the slave captain and had his wife executed. Then he ordered his vizier to bring him a new bride every evening. Every morning after the wedding night, the sultan had his new bride put to death. Well, changing partners is one option, but what if you want to make the most of your sex life with a partner you already have? What do you do? Talk about it is the advice, but where do you start? What do you say? The sultan's vengeance struck terror into the hearts of every family with daughters in the kingdom. No father could refuse the sultan if the sultan demanded his daughter as his next doomed bride. The vizier was just as fearful as every other father. He had two daughters of his own, the sweet and lovely Dinazade, the younger of the two, and his elder daughter, the beautiful, clever, brave Scheherazade. His one hope was this. He knew that the sultan had fallen in love with Scheherazade and might just spare her and her sister. Then Scheherazade herself came to her father and dashed even that hope. She was sick of the situation. Someone had to do something. Scheherazade had made a plan. She volunteered to become the next bride. You don't need to be that drastic to turn your own situation around. Don't just make a plan. A plan is one-sided. A lover's pact is a promise on both sides. In my book, it's a deep and lasting commitment to explore the emotional drivers of your sexuality, to increase your emotional satisfaction as well as your physical pleasure. When Scheherazade volunteered to marry the sultan was horrified. He loved Scheherazade. He tried to talk her out of it, but as long as he stuck to his resolution, she was determined to stick to hers. Eventually, he gave in. Scheherazade and the sultan were married. He took her to bed, vowing to do everything he could to please her on her last night alive. So, in the midst of their pleasure, when Scheherazade asked if she could see her sister one last time, the sultan agreed at once. So they sent for Dinazade, and when Dinazade joined them in the bedchamber, Scheherazade's little sister said, "Let's make this night a long one. Let's not sleep. Scheherazade, why don't you tell us one of your stories?" So Scheherazade began to tell a tale. It was an epic adventure, full of twists and turns, building up to a nail-biting cliffhanger just as the sun was rising upon her execution day. "What happens next?" the Sultan asked, desperate to know the ending. Scheherazade said, "If you think this is exciting, wait till you hear what I have to tell you tomorrow night, if you'll spare me until then." And the Sultan, eager for more, said, "I will." That's the power of the story. Power enough to stop a vengeful ruler in his tracks. Lovers' Pact uses the power of stories in two ways. First, it helps the two of you to structure your plan by basing it on the plot elements of an epic adventure. Second, it uses scenes from famous classic stories as prompts to help you to talk to each other about your deepest wishes and needs. Scheherazade knew how to keep herself alive and the Sultan impatient for their next night together. For 1,001 nights in all, until she had borne the Sultan 3 sons, and he confessed he had long ago reprieved her in his heart. He made Scheherazade his queen. Dinazad married his brother, and they all lived happily ever after. And so have the stories of those 1,001 nights. Aladdin, Sinbad the Sailor, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, and many, many more. Stories are powerful things. They have softened hearts, changed minds, saved lives, and transformed the world. You can use the power of stories to get the best out of your sex life forever. The Lovers' Pact is one of the most powerful themes of the stories we know best. My book is an invitation to make a Lovers' Pact, not for 1,001 nights, but for the year ahead, to develop the emotional side of your sex life together, using the power of stories. These are the stories Lovers' Pact uses to guide you through your own adventure. There are snippets from them throughout the book as prompts to help you get talking. The early chapters help you discuss your most basic physical and emotional needs, your sexual ambitions, how to expand your sexual horizons, and how to make sure the emotional and physical sides of your love life keep on growing over the longer term. Later chapters help you turn your promises into action, record your milestones, look back over the adventures you've had together, and learn from your experiences together. How does that sound? Are you ready to make your Lovers' Pact? If you are, fly your magic carpet over to my website, drenchedorchid.weebly.com. You can even get the first chapter free. Thank you for listening to my story. I'm not going to say the end, because the adventure is only just beginning.